Solana has printed some green candles recently, and some fantastic trade opportunities have been seen, and we still have the potential for further upside on Sol. So in today's video, we will be jumping down into the technical analysis of Solana, taking a look and giving my short-term price predictions for the SOL token. Guys, let's waste no more time, let's get right down into it. Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name is Nick, and today we are discussing the technical analysis of Solana. As I get into today's video, guys, smash that like button. Let's see if we can hit 500 likes on today's video. If you are new to the channel, welcome, subscribe, and stay up to date with all the content that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Guys, let's get right into this one. So Solana paired up with USDT. We're on the one-day Binance chart here, and we can see that we had a bit of a retracement for Solana, and this was a great trading opportunity, which I did manage to take advantage of with an entry around $162. And yeah, we can see we've had great moves to the upside, where we recently peaked at $175.60. Anyone who's following the 10K to 100K challenge videos that I've been putting together know that I had a long position here on 10x, entering at 162, exiting at 175. I didn't like some of the volatility that I saw, so I did exit early. But if you follow those videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, with the structures here, we do find ourselves in pretty bullish daily chart for Solana, but there's also a few things we need to be aware of, right? And so we find ourselves above the 200-day EMA. That's currently set at $127. So when we're above the 200 EMA, we're bullish because that is our trend filter. When we're lower than the 200 EMA on the daily time frame, we're bearish because, of course, that's negative, right? So we go short on the market, go long if we're above, go short if we are lower than the 200 EMA. 200 EMA currently set at $127 is incredibly bullish because the current price is $171. We are, of course, above the 50 EMA as well, which is set at $161, and the 50 SMA, which is $156. This shows us that short-term price action is higher than long-term price action, which is also bullish, and price action in itself is higher than all of those moving averages. So it's also indicating very bullish times for Solana. Now, the patterns that we've seen inside the data, anyone who is following the previous set of Solana videos will know that we have some interesting patterns here. We obviously had our initial surge up, retracement, surge up, retracement, and we're looking for a surge up. Okay, this is known as a WXYXZ. Okay, and it's done for this particular pattern. It happens for a very particular set of reasons. Okay, using a Fibonacci retracement tool, you measure the distance of this first initial move. Move this fib over to where we had a retracement and where we bottomed out, and this next move to the upside is supposed to land between 1 and 1.236 on the fib scale under a 3-wave pattern. But any price action that exceeds 1.236 typically goes up to a 1.382, and when it does this, it leads us down into the world of a W, X, Y, X, and Z, where you take this initial Fibonacci retracement tool and move it over to our most recent bounce. This then shows you with a move up between 50% and 123.6%. This becomes your Z-wave area. It's quite a broad area because a Z-wave can be so many different patterns. But essentially what it ends up looking like is this, a W, X, Y, X, Z. Okay, now that Z-wave in itself can be many different types of patterns, but the minimum expectation is actually going to be down here at $189, which puts us pretty much in line with where we were previously, where we saw a swing high of around 188.89. That would mean a double top bearish situation under completing the minimum expectations of the Z wave. Okay, so very important that we understand this mimics the idea of a 5-wave impulsive move, which is different. That would look like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. However, we don't really meet the requirements of an impulsion. We could potentially reach the requirements of a expanding diagonal, but that wave 5 would have to exceed our expectations at well over $240 in my opinion. Okay, so I think it's very unlikely to be the case that we are in some kind of diagonal based expansion. Okay, it's very important to understand that. Okay, we are not tracking a leading diagonal, okay, because that would have to still have our 1.618 trigger point, which means price would have had to have rallied up significantly higher already. And We can't be doing an impulsion because, again, we haven't hit the 1.618. So the only possible scenario is what we'd call an expanding diagonal, which would be something like this, where we'd have this wave 4 and then a fantastic wave 5 that would have to exceed the length of the wave 3. Wave 5 would have to be the longest wave. Wave 3 cannot be the shortest wave, meaning wave 1 must be. And it basically would look like a megaphone pattern. Anyone who follows patterns would see this looking more like this, where it kind of expands out over time. I don't think this is likely to be the case. I believe a W, X, Y, X, and Z is the most probable scenario here when it comes to Solana. So we're still looking for some upward price action, $189 to $240, right, on the daily time frame. But unfortunately, things have progressed maybe a little bit too fast. And this shows us that we are looking for some weakness here and potentially some retracement for Solana before maybe we continue those moves to the upside. One of the things when it comes to the pattern of a W, X, Y, X, and Z, the Z wave being so many possible different scenarios, we have to consider what that might mean. It could be a 535, it could be a 335, it could be so many other patterns as well. We might even see a W, X, Y, X, and Z inside there and nesting down and so forth. Now, one of the things my expectations would be that we are finding ourselves with a scenario where we find a 3-wave pattern at a macro level. So it could be a double zigzag. We could find that inside there. So we could have a 535, 3 waves down, 535 back up again. And that could be a way that we kind of finish off that Z wave pattern, so many different things. But what we're looking at here is the stochastic RSI. And the stochastic RSI is showing us that there's not actually that much support for the upward momentum in terms of price action. And this is because we've moved rapidly from oversold to overbought. Now, this isn't a perfect tool for trying to ascertain whether or not this is the right kind of bullish momentum that we need, or bullish move in the market, a breakout move in the market. This is just giving you a rough idea as to whether or not there's a lot of buying pressure or not so much buying pressure behind the price action, right? It's a momentum indicator that's really sensitive to price movements. We've still got lots of momentum to the upside, so it still shows us with potential moves up higher. So I'm not too concerned on the short term. There's a little bit of volatility maybe on the 1 hour, but for the daily time frame, we're still looking pretty good. If we take off the stochastics and throw on the RSI, you can see had hidden bullish divergence on the 2nd of June. Go ahead and take a look at the price action in relation. You can see that being basically my entry point, hidden bullish divergence, also happened to kind of fall very nicely in and around key support areas. And then obviously we rallied up quite nicely from here. Good old amount of leverage on something like Blowfin or BitGet allows you to take advantage of these markets. Now we are above the mid-level, plenty of upward momentum, so I'm not concerned over the price action here for the daily time frame whatsoever. Put on the volumes and you can see the concern is that we've had a move to the upside in price right here. And of course, you can see at the same time as this happening, volumes have not been the best, right? We want to see high volumes like we saw back in March of 2024, not what we're seeing right now. So again, it's the idea that this might just be a little relief rally, further move to the downside before we actually get up into that Z wave movement. And if so, then actually that Z wave will lift higher in price, not lower in price. I think it'll be very interesting to see how that kind of plays out. So we'll keep a close eye on that one, but for the most part, volumes are decreasing as we start to push back up in here. So this could all be a part of a much bigger correction. So just be very mindful over all of that. So for the most part on the daily time frame, good areas of support to be seen for Solana. A good potential move up towards $189 to be seen on Sol. So otherwise, yeah, the weekly is probably the next main focus, right? And the weekly chart shows us with some ideas that maybe we'll be in a WXYXZ pattern to the upside, which will actually be a B wave movement overall. Let me actually go ahead and clear that one out so we have a cleaner chart. And this 3-wave move might take us down towards our 50 simple day moving average, so 50 simple week moving average. But again, no guarantees in the space. This idea of a nice healthy correction after a fantastic 5-wave move to the upside. And should this be the case, then we're going to be looking for another fantastic run to the upside on Solana. Okay, so following on from our previous structure, it's all the way back in August of 2020, great run up into all-time highs, okay, coming in at the $259 range, great bear market where we saw the low coming in at $8, another 5-wave move to the upside. Now, this is possibly an area of focus for us because as we kind of come up into this previous area of resistance, which is right up there in the previous all-time high, we have a correction and then we have an explosive exit taking us out towards $1,800. Now, no guarantees that that's the case, but it's something to kind of keep an eye on. That would basically put us in line with an ABC structure overall. Well, it's actually probably more of a WXY, but you kind of get the idea. And this is going to basically be where we kind of find the top of the bull market for Solana. Now, timing this is going to be quite difficult. Are we talking about this being the end of 2024? Are we talking about early 2025? I don't know. I cannot time the market. All I can do is say that it looks likely that we're going to see a very explosive move to the upside for Solana at some point in the coming months. And I do think we're going to see a lot of resistance at some of these key areas, such as $300, $400, $500, all those kind of round numbers. But ultimately, sentiment shows, and the way that kind of Solana has been moving already, the buying behaviors that sit inside the price action shows us with a potential move towards $1,800 on Solana. I think it's a very long shot. I don't think it's likely to happen, but technically speaking, there is a potential scenario where we do see that. I think it'd be more realistic to be aiming for somewhere between $500 and $600, but you can let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What's your long-term price prediction for Solana? Guys, if you found today's video useful, smash that like button. If you're new, subscribe, and why don't you check out this video here and stay up to date with what's going on with Cardano.